الحمد لله رب العالمين والعاقبة للمتقين والصلاة والسلام على أشرف المرسلين محمد وعلى آله وأصحابه ومن سار على خطاه واتبع سنته إلى يوم الدين. يقول الله سبحانه وتعالى في محكم كتابه وهو أصدق القائلين: أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم، بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. شهر رمضان الذي أنزل فيه القرآن هدى للناس وبينات من الهدى والفرقان. ويقول الله سبحانه وتعالى: يا أيها الذين آمنوا كتب عليكم الصيام كما كتب على الذين من قبلكم لعلكم تتقون. ويقول الله سبحانه وتعالى بين الآيتين عن الصيام، يقول: وإذا سألك عبادي عني فإني قريب أجيب دعوة الداعي إذا دعان فليستجيبوا لي وليؤمنوا بي لعلهم يرشدون. My brothers and sisters, Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi ta'ala wa barakatuh. Ramadan is at the corner, and the Muslim world from Jakarta to Tanja in Morocco are getting ready to receive this blessed occasion, the most important month in our calendar. Most of the time when we are talking about Ramadan or other worship acts, what do? We forget two things. One is the element of time and place, and the other one is the bipolar nature of worship in Islam. So today, inshallah, in maybe 15 minutes or 20 minutes, I'm gonna talk about these two elements, inshallah, and its connection to the Ramadan. So, what Islam offers for the person who is living, or Ramadan offers for the person who is living in the heart of Western civilization in 21st century. This is important for us. So most of the time when we are talking about Islamic issues, what do? We focus on just historical facts. But we forget the reality. We forget our environment. We forget the situation where we live. One of the examples is the status of women in Islam. When we start talking about that, what do? We compare the status of women in Islam with the most dark age of Middle Eastern history, which was the age of Jahiliyyah. We compare it with Jahiliyyah. Then we move to the Roman Empire, then to Persian Empire, then to Indian civilization. And we don't touch what is going on today's world. So we have to look at reality to see what our religion offers for the modern man here. So this is what I'm trying to focus on, inshallah. And to connect between text and context, between responsibility and reality. So in this regard, some time ago, I found a book during one of my trips in an airport called by the name of The Miracle of Fasting. This book is written by a Christian doctor by the name of Paul Brick. At the beginning of the book, he raised a question, an important question. He says, what is the most important discovery of modern era? Then he answered, he says, is it the discovery of dinosaur eggs in the desert of Mongolia, which says that the life of the dinosaurs were living about 10 million years ago? Is it the radioactive clock that shows that the age of Earth is 1 billion years? Is it the computer and the internet? At the end, himself answered the question. he says these are not the biggest discovery of modern era. The biggest, the most important discovery of modern era is fasting. And fasting is not comparable to any discoveries in the human history. Because fasting unlocked and released the energy of human being in different directions. Physical energy, spiritual energy, and mental energy. At the age of communication revolution and information explosion, what do they call it? We are enjoying using different tools of communication, like computer, like cell phones, different applications, different sites of social media, and we enjoy it. But the problem is we lose something very, very important, and which is the peace of mind. So, in the stability, the more we are preoccupied with these equipment, with these tools, the more we are in need of fasting, in i'tikaf, in Ramadan, in focus, at least 30 days per year. Imam al-Ghazali, when he talks about fasting, he divides fasting into three categories, three levels. One is Sawm al-Umum, fasting for ordinary people. The other one is Sawm al-Khusus, fasting for extraordinary people. And the third one is Sawm al-Khusus al-Khusus. Khusus al-Khusus means the perfect fast. The first category, which is Sawm al-Umum, we are restrained from eating and drinking. And the extraordinary or Sawm al-Khusus from, so our organs should fast. Our ears, our tongue, all organs should fast. But the perfect fast, which is Sawm al-Khusus, or the elite of elite, is the fasting that we don't allow any thought prevent us from focus to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. So we put a shield to prevent any distraction or to prevent entering any pollution to our mind, to our soul. Because today, every single day, millions of information units enters our mind. So how to get rid of this toxins which coming from the social media, from the technology that the modern man created? How to move from anxiety to comfort, from disruption to focus, from turmoil to peace of mind. There is a hadith narrated from Umar ibn al-Khattab. He says, ليس الصيام من الطعام والشراب ولكنه من الباطل واللغو. The fasting is not from eating and drinking, but from falsehood and purposeless matters. There is another kind of siyam, another type of siyam. Quran talked about it, especially when Quran is talking about the previous umam. It is siyam al-sukut, the fasting of silence. In the context of the story of Maryam alayhi salam. Quran says in Surah Maryam, فَكُلِي وَاشْرَبِي. Then says, فَقُولِي إِنِّي نَذَرْتُ لِلرَّحْمَنِ صَوْمًا فَلَنْ أُكَلِّمَ الْيَوْمَ إِنْسِيًّا. So, Maryam alayhi salam, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala orders Maryam alayhi salam and tell her to say I promised Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala to fast and never talk to anyone. So she's eating and drinking, but at the same time, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala calls her as a fasting person because she was not talking to anyone. So silence was the method that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala taught Maryam alayhi salam to get equipped with to face all accusation and all challenges that she was facing when she gave birth to Isa alayhi salam. So silence, especially during i'tikaf and during Ramadan, is a method to make our souls charged, our hearts healed, and our mind gets sharpened. In another ayah, Quran says, when Quran talks about Zakaria alayhi salam, Quran says, وَقَالَ رَبِّ اجْعَلْ لِي آيَةً. Zakaria alayhi salam said, make me a sign, oh Allah, make for me a sign. And Allah said, قَالَ آيَتُكَ. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala said, أَلَّا تُكَلِّمَ النَّاسَ ثَلَاثَ لَيَالٍ سَوِيًّا. Your sign is not to talk to people for 3 days and night. So during this blessed month, the month of Ramadan, we need to sit in the bank of the endless universe, the system of existence, and listen to the soft music of nature in the call from the Lord of nature. Modern man in 20th century could reach moon and landed actually on moon. And modern man in 21st century could already reached Mars with its artificial hand. But the modern man at the same time feels alienation, get alienated. The modern man is forgetting himself. And this is one of the punishments that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala talks about. Quran says, وَلَا تَكُونُوا كَالَّذِينَ نَسُوا اللَّهَ فَأَنْسَاهُمْ أَنفُسَهُمْ. Do not be like those who forgot Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, and Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala made them to forget themselves. So this is one of the punishment that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala talking about. Most of the time when we talk about Ramadan, the first thing that comes to our mind is the Battle of Badr. Then the second thing, the conquest of Mecca. Then the Battle of Qadisiyah. Then the Battle of Nahrawan. Then the Battle of Salahuddin Ayyubi against Crusaders. Then Ain Jalut, when Zahir Bibars faced for the first time the destructive wave of Mongols in Ain Jalut in Palestine, and stopped it there. But the problem is, Ramadan is not limited in those occasions, in those incidents, in those great occasions of the Islamic history. But in Ramadan is the month of, first of all, Ramadan is the most important part of Ramadan is that Ramadan is the month of endowment. So if you ask me, what is the secret of Islamic civilization? I'm going to tell you that waqf is the driving force, the engine of civilization, Islamic civilization, waqf, endowment. So in this month, Islamic Ummah built thousands of institutions, starting from Bukhara to Samarkand to Lahore to Balkh to Herat to Andalus, Cairo, Al-Quds. So when we travel nowadays, we see all those institutions. For example, Al-Azhar University was established during the month of Ramadan. Zaytuna University was established during the month of Ramadan. Qarawiyyin University was established during the month of Ramadan. In the Ummah, during the month of Ramadan, was establishing schools, orphanages, libraries, hospitals, and just name it. The season of Ramadan was the season of waqf, to flourish. Without waqf, wouldn't have been possible for our civilization to produce people like Abu Hanifa, Shafi'i, Imam Malik, Ahmad ibn Hanbal, Avicenna, Al-Biruni, Al-Khwarizmi. All these are the product of waqf. So our Islamic centers should understand that the waqf is the engine of our civilization, in the past and present. When colonial power came to the Muslim world, what they did, the first thing, they destroyed the waqf, the endowment, number one. Number two, when the nation states came, the first thing, in order to connect the ulama to the court, to the government, to the state, they destroyed, in most part of the Muslim world, they destroyed waqf. Waqf is very, very important, especially when it comes to the issue of education. Especially in America, for example, Harvard. What made Harvard Harvard, the leading higher education institution in America? It's an endowment, waqf. $30 million or $40 billion endowment. That's what made Harvard Harvard. Another concept which is very, very important and we have to focus on is the way we make iftar, the etiquette, or the protocol of making iftar. There is a word in Arabic language, we call it ma'daba. Ma'daba, or banquet, or dining table. We call it ma'daba. Ma'daba is from the word addaba yu'addibu ta'diban. This means, adab means education, manner, behavior, also literature. So our dining table should be an educational institution, an educational place to raise our children, to educate them, to teach them good manner and behavior. There is a hadith from Ibn Mas'ud, narrated by Ibn Mas'ud. The hadith says, إن هذا الكتاب مأدبة الله في أرضه. This book, Quran, is the dining table of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala on earth. So that means the ma'daba as connection, the way we eat in the iftar at the day at the end of the day of Ramadan, that affect the psychology of our children. There are several studies and research is done by Harvard University and Columbia University. And these research and studies say that children who are sitting around the table, on dining table of the family, most likely when they get raised, they are free from alcohol, from drug, from depression, and from suicide. This is based on a scientific studies. Relating to the educational institutions, the Muslim community in the United States of America has developed highly since the arrival of Islam to this country. So the community start establishing masajid, which is very important, then move to the next level, next stage, which was the establishment of schools, Islamic schools, and we have now, alhamdulillah, we have hundreds of Islamic schools from coast to coast, in which we are proud of. Then the third step is to establish higher education institutions for our children. The subjects that are being offered in regular universities they don't offer Islamic studies when even you take the class. About maybe 10 years ago, I was teaching at SMU, and there was a professor who was teaching Islam. What he was doing, he was just trying to go through the road of Islamic history and find whatever trash he finds, he collected. Then he comes to the classroom and teaches us at Islam. So we need higher education institution for our future. So related to that, a group of your brothers and sisters established a seminary by the Islamic Seminary of America. A group of educated intellectuals of Muslim society from Yale, from Stanford, Harvard, other universities. And in this year, the seminary gonna produce the first graduate of that institution. The goal of this institution is to cultivate a generation of world-class doers who lead from an Islamic paradigm while engaging contemporary challenges and opportunities. When you leave, there is a booth. Brother Noor is there, and if you need any information, he can provide it to you, inshallah. أقول قولي هذا واستغفر الله لي ولكم ولسائر المسلمين واستغفروه إنه هو الغفور الرحيم. الحمد لله رب العالمين والعاقبة للمتقين والصلاة والسلام على أشرف المرسلين محمد وعلى آله وأصحابه أجمعين. The question that can be raised is, if Ramadan has all these characteristics and all these powers, why the situation of Muslim world is different? Even though the other question, even though we make 5 times, wudu 5 times and pray 5 times, but why that cleanliness doesn't reflect in our behavior? Why time management is absent from our daily life? Why we are gaining weight during Ramadan instead of losing it? Why in some Muslim societies, when you travel, you see the rate of crime and murder raised in Ramadan, according to scientific research? This question is valid. In my opinion, Ramadan is not just an act of worship, like mechanical worship. But Ramadan is a way of life. Ramadan is a training. Ramadan is a workshop. Ramadan is a school. And Ramadan is a culture. If we don't make Ramadan as our culture, it doesn't affect our life. May Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala help us to make Ramadan our culture. There is an ayah which I recited in the beginning of the khutbah. إذا سألك عبادي عني فإني قريب أجيب دعوة الداعي إذا دعان فليستجيبوا لي وليؤمنوا بي لعلهم يرشدون. So Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala in Surah Al-Baqarah talks about Ramadan. Then in the second ayah talks about dua. And the third ayah again comes to Ramadan. So it means that dua is in the heart of Ramadan. Ramadan without dua is useless. So we ask Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala here, اللهم الحمد لله الذي هدانا للإسلام ووفقنا لإدراك شهر شعبان وندعوه أن يبلغنا رمضان والسلام على خير من صلى وصام وعلى آله وصحبه الكرام. اللهم إنا نسألك موجبات رحمتك وعزائم مغفرتك والسلامة من كل إثم والغنيمة من كل بر والفوز بالجنة والنجاة من النار. ربنا اغفر لنا ذنوبنا وإسرافنا في أمرنا وثبت أقدامنا وانصرنا على القوم الكافرين. ربنا تقبل منا إنك أنت السميع العليم. ربنا أفرغ علينا صبرا وثبت أقدامنا وانصرنا على القوم الكافرين. اللهم إنا نعوذ بك من علم لا ينفع وقلب لا يخشع ودعاء لا يسمع ونفس لا تشبع. ربنا آتنا في الدنيا حسنة وفي الآخرة حسنة وقنا عذاب النار. ربنا لا تزغ قلوبنا بعد إذ هديتنا وهب لنا من لدنك رحمة إنك أنت الوهاب. اللهم بارك لنا في رجب وشعبان وبلغنا رمضان لا فاقدين ولا مفقودين. اللهم اهدني فيما أهدنا فيمن هديت وعافنا فيمن عافيت وتولنا فيمن توليت وبارك لنا فيما أعطيت وقنا شر ما قضيت إنك تقضي ولا يقضى عليك تباركت ربنا وتعاليت. نستغفرك ونتوب إليك. اللهم أهل علينا شهر رمضان بالأمن والإيمان والسلامة والإسلام وأعنا فيه على الصيام والقيام وقراءة القرآن. اللهم بلغنا شهر رمضان بلا بلاغ قبول وتوفيق وقربنا فيه يا ربنا إلى مرضاتك وجنبنا فيها الفعل الذي يؤدي لنقماتك برحمتك يا أرحم الراحمين. اللهم بلغنا رمضان وأنت راض عنا وأعنا على صيامه وقيامه على الوجه الذي يرضيك عنا برحمتك يا أرحم الراحمين. أقول قولي هذا واستغفر الله لي ولكم ولسائر المسلمين واستغفروه إنه هو الغفور الرحيم. قوموا إلى